Hi, and welcome back to our Ask the Agronomist video series. I am Phil Long, Precision Agronomy Advisor with Latham High-Tech Seeds. And today we're out in the middle of our cover crop plot here. You can see the cereal rye that's dead, killed shortly after planting. I want to talk a little bit about growth staging soybeans and post-emergence herbicide applications as we're coming quickly up on that time. So really your V stages are dependent on how many trifoliate leaves are expanded. Remember, those 3 leaflets, that's a trifoliate. The first leaves that come out of the ground are going to be your cotyledons, which are going to eventually fall off. And then you have your unifoliate leaves. They just are a single leaf opposite of each other. And then once we get up to the trifoliates, they're going to be alternate on the stem. So as you go up the stem, they will stagger themselves one by one. So V2 plants, so that's important. Once they get to putting a flower on, we're not terribly far away from the summer solstice. That trumps the V stages. So once you start seeing flowers on a soybean plant, that means it is an R1 or beginning flower. So that essentially trumps any of the V stages. You use that as your guide. It is now officially into reproduction. So where are we at in terms of canopy closure and controlling weeds? We're not in the best spot as far as canopy closure. Typically a 30-inch row is going to take about 70 to 75 days to canopy. We're only at V2. We have a ways to go. We'd like to see this canopied by the time it flowers. We're not anywhere close to that. It's probably going to be flowering in roughly 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how hot it gets, how far along and how quickly it pushes it into reproduction. So we've got quite a ways. So what are our options as far as herbicides? Well, in this case, we don't have any pre-down, which may be scary, but this cereal rye does a really good job at suppressing weeds, especially water hemp, which we deal with a lot here. So that's an advantage to us in terms of having this cover crop out here. We don't see near as much weed pressure. However, we have a lot of conventional plots out here. So what do we do about those? They may need a herbicide a little bit ahead of this particular cover crop plot. Well, just based on canopy closure and where we're at, kind of want to hold off. We're not seeing a lot of weeds, but we got to remember a few things in terms of extend-to-max timing and so forth. We're very close to that here in Iowa. In southern Minnesota, we're already past that date. So hopefully you've worked something out or figured something out on the extend side of things to where you could put that down a little bit earlier and do something a little bit later in season if need be. So in terms of extend here, where we still have a little bit of time to spray, finding the window to spray, it's going to be important, especially this week when it's really hot. It's going to be a good opportunity for Liberty. If you're using Liberty, remember, it loves hot. Get it as hot as it can be out there is great, and make sure you're spraying plenty of volume in terms of water. Get really good coverage, and make sure you're using some kind of AMS or AMS substitute in the tank to help it get into the plants and so forth. And you can always use another application of Liberty as well if you have it on hand up till R1 time frame. Enlist is going to be a similar situation in terms of time frame up to that R1 growth stage. So once they start putting flowers on it, then you should stop spraying it. But in terms of extend, going back to that, especially where we're at in the season right now in terms of getting that on, it's going to have to find that window. Once you find that window, hopefully you can get that on. If possible, I would encourage you to try and add something else to the tank if you still can, and you can still get it from your retailer. Something like a Group 15, like Warrant or something, would really help make sure that residual stays there and you have control for a little bit longer, another couple weeks hopefully, to where these soybeans can start closing that row. That's going to be really critical. So hopefully this week you can get some spraying done amongst the wind and the heat and so forth. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at 1-877-GO-LATHAM or visit us on our website at lathamseeds.com. Thanks for watching this week's Ask the Agronomist.